Hello, broadcasters. Welcome to episode 135 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. My name's Geige, and I'm here with not Dan this time. Dan's visiting friends and family, wasn't able to make it, but I'm here with Dana. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself, Dana?
Absolutely. I'm close enough to Dan, and my name's close enough. I'm Dana Bentz, everyone. Nice to meet you. For those of you who are new here, and for those of you who tune in every single week, hello. It's nice to see you live. Normally, I'm just in the comments, but this is actually my second, maybe third appearance on the town hall. So happy to be here, Geige.
Yeah, it's great to have you. So for anyone new here, I'm one of the founders of StreamYard. Usually I say me and Dan, but Dana's one of our first employees. But we do these town halls every single week, and we do them for a few reasons. One is to stay in tune with you guys, go through the same flow you do, and when you do your own shows. Two is to answer any of your questions. So feel free to leave it in the chat. We'll do our best to get to them all. And then I always make sure to mention the three pillars of StreamYard, which are ease of use, stability, and professional streams. So if you're about those three things, StreamYard is the tool for you. See lots of people hanging out in the chat tonight. Hey, Jason, nice to see you here. Yeah, Dan with an A for sure.
Dan plus A. I like it.
Russ says Sunday. Happy Monday from Melbourne, Australia. That's super cool. I didn't actually realize that it was already Monday in Australia.
Neat. It's so fun to see that people all over the world tune in to our shows.
Absolutely. Clarine, tuning in from greater Milwaukee, Wisconsin area. LinkedIn live show is called Imposter Syndrome Disrupted. It sounds like an awesome show. Airs every second and fourth Tuesday at noon. Fantastic.
Interesting.
Before I forget, should mention our StreamYard shows. So we got the StreamYard Spotlight, and we actually have one of the hosts on tonight. So StreamYard Spotlight is the first Thursday of every month at 8 p.m. Eastern, which is a show featuring you guys in the community, highlighting folks and how they're having success with live streaming. So be sure to reach out to Dana if you'd like to be featured.
And we haven't booked next month's guest. So hit me up at contact@streamyard.com if you want to be a guest.
Absolutely. And then we have YouTube channel reviews with Dean Nimmin and Daniel Batal. They go live on the second Saturday of every month. And then on the other Saturdays, for the first and third, it is live stream reviews with Christian and Letitia. Lots of fun if you want to get your channel or live stream reviewed. Then we got Live Stream Impact with Julie's the second Friday of every month at 3 p.m. Eastern, where she interviews all kinds of folks in the live streaming industry. And then for all your additional questions, we have an open office 11 a.m. Eastern on Tuesday, first and third week with Julie and Mel. So that's in the Facebook community group. So if you're not in that, just on Facebook, if you type in StreamYard community, you should be able to find that pretty easily. And our fun fact for tonight, Dan will have to, actually, this one will be easy because it's the same answer for me and Dan, and Dana can, it's probably similar to ours. But the fun fact was, how long have you been live streaming? So for me personally, it actually hasn't been as long as some people would probably guess. It was the first public live stream Dan and I ever did was actually the town hall. So it's been just under 3 years is how long. And feel free to answer yourselves about, be curious how long you guys have been live streaming. What about you, Dana?
I think for me, it was 2016. I went live on the native Facebook app, like very right when it came out. I was like so excited to try it. And I did like a house tour walkthrough way back in 2016. I remember being so nervous to go live. I was like, this is kind of like, you're like literally talking to your whole entire Facebook profile. Every single friend you have is going to like tune in, because back then every single person got your notifications for being live. It was so stressful. But now we all understand, how hard it is to actually go live in front of all your friends and family. Like we understand the trials and tribulations of live streaming.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Jim, nice to see you here. Jay's tuning in from Sedona, Arizona. Very cool. I actually lived in Arizona for a few years in Tempe. Jared, that's actually one of the subjects for tonight, so we can jump to that. So yes, absolutely. We actually already have this option now, and it's for all brand assets. So video clips, overlays, backgrounds. You can now rearrange all of those things. I've actually got, so yeah, this was the announcement for it, but we actually have a GIF for it as well, just so you can see how it works. Let me just grab that really quick. Excuse the low resolution, but yeah, pretty self-explanatory. You can now drag and drop your assets. So yeah, curious what you guys think. If it's useful for you. We are curious how you felt about the 2 columns versus 1 column. most feedback so far has been that the new single column is preferred, but a few people have still preferred the second column. So curious what you guys think.
Yeah, I've heard from a lot of people that they like it so much better because even though it feels like it takes up more space being just one column, it's just so much easier because you can organize them in the order that you need them. So everything at the bottom that's like at the end of the show, it's just like out of your way, which is so nice.
Yeah, this is my first time actually using it live. I definitely like it.
Did you organize everything?
I did organize everything, and then but it's nice instead to just be able to think through like this is the exact order I want to go through versus sort of going side by side. So far, I prefer it.
Yep.
Thanks, Aldrin. Great to have you on StreamYard. Welcome.
Welcome.
Charles Matthews Show says calendar for easy booking. Yeah, that's a great idea, Charles. At some point, we'd definitely like to integrate with the more popular calendar solutions, especially for those folks that are booking guests. On that note, I'd be curious if there's any other types of integrations, Charles, or anyone else that come to mind that you'd really like to see us integrate with, whether that's, Drive, something Drive comes up a lot, but if there's any other tools like that that would be useful to integrate with. Let's see here.
We're getting so many comments that drag and drop is awesome.
Hey, Belle, nice to have you here. Yeah, that's good to know. Other subject for tonight. It's been a few weeks now, but now we've seen that there's been several thousand broadcasts that have gone live with it. So if any of you have tried the new pre-recorded streaming feature, curious how it's going for you. And if there's any, new use cases that we haven't really anticipated. The main way we were thinking people would use it was essentially like, if you had a great guest that you couldn't book at your normal showtime, you could essentially use pre-recorded streaming to record it and then stream it out at your normal showtime. And same with like big events where there's maybe a certain section that you want to have pre-recorded. But if there's anything unique you're doing, let us know. We'd be curious to hear about it.
And I think we should mention what Dan mentioned in the last show. There was a question about can we show comments on the pre-recorded stream, like live comments? And he had the great idea of just video sharing it instead. Like you just use pre-record if you just want to stream out the show because you can't be there. Like that's the purpose of it. But if you want to stream a pre-recorded stream and add the comments, you could still do that. You just have to be in the studio to show them on screen. And I think that's a great idea. Yeah,
that's a great point. That eventually maybe we'll add that option too. But in the meantime, yeah, that's totally fine. You can just use the inside the studio, the pre-recorded option there. Another thing to note too is before using the pre-recorded streaming option, in any case, it's best to not, deceive users into thinking it's actually live when it's not. So as a best practice, you should let them know. But sometimes specific platforms even have guidelines that say you have to do that. So make sure you check them before you use the feature. Definitely some old timers here. Christian has been streaming since the Google Hangouts days. I don't remember the exact release date of Hangouts on air, but it was definitely.
Wasn't it like 2008 or something, like way long time ago?
For in streaming years, it was one of the first. So yeah, it might have been, if it wasn't 2008, it was around 2010, I think.
That's wild. Christian, let us know what year.
Brian's been streaming since Facebook Live started up. Very cool. I think that was like maybe 2016 or something.
Very cool.
Same with Shadow the Hedgehog. Awesome.
Oh my gosh, everyone's experts here.
Cool. Yeah, lots of long time streamers. Let's see if we have any feedback on the pre-recorded option. Jim's using it for pre-recorded content scheduled releases. Very cool. Sebastian, nice to see you here. It's been a while. Pause record option in recording, please. Yeah, that one definitely comes up quite a bit, Sebastian, and we're certainly open to adding it. And I think it would essentially work exactly like how you're saying, that within a record-only broadcast, maybe even a live broadcast for events. We've had requests there for wanting to literally stop sending the stream and then send it out at a later time. So certainly something we're open to. Yeah, you anticipated that question, Dana. So hopefully Dana's answer helped with that, Real. That if you're using the pre-recorded streaming feature, know that, I mean, you can still interact with chats if you're in the actual chat on the social platform. But the comments, you won't be able to pop them up on screen. But again, you can just use the studio instead and just share a video. One difference, though, and one advantage of using the feature specifically for scheduling the pre-recorded videos is it won't use your internet. So pre-recorded streaming sharing a local video in the StreamYard studio, it streams it from your computer. So if you have poor internet, the quality would degrade, and it could be it could cut out if you have bad internet. So if you're on a poor internet connection, that's one advantage of the scheduled ones is you upload it beforehand, so it streams from StreamYard, and there's no real chance of having quality issues or anything like that.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Chantel says, will you be integrating the giveaway tool so we don't need to screen share to use it? At some point, we likely will make a more direct integration, Chantel, especially if we start having more tools like that.
Yeah, that would be nice. Easy to do a giveaway.
Absolutely. JVlog says, oh, I like that hoodie you guys are wearing. So I don't know if we have this exact, I think the new one's cooler, JVlog anyway. So if the StreamYard, if you just go to the StreamYard landing page, there's a link to the store, and we also, do the giveaways. So maybe you will win one.
This is like some last year sold out merch. Our new hoodies are cuter.
Agreed. Simply ball drop and podcast. I like the title. Sometimes when I'm live, my Facebook comments don't come in, only the YouTube ones. Why is that? So my best guess would be possibly privacy settings on Facebook. So if you're streaming to your Facebook profile, if you have it set to friends only, StreamYard's not actually able to grab the comments. But either way, I'd reach out to, we have 24/7 support. So if you just go to streamyard.com/contact, they can help troubleshoot to make sure you're not missing anything and help walk through it with you. Jared says, pre-recorded has come to StreamYard now. Yeah, absolutely, Jared. You can now schedule out videos, whether that's a past broadcast or something you upload, and set it to go out at a later date. Eduardo, quite a few Hangouts on air, folks. Very cool. I might have used it a couple times, but not really for. It probably wasn't Hangouts on air. I think it was just for just the Google Hangouts. Let's see.
Back in the day.
A couple questions about storage here as it relates to pre-recorded streaming, which is a good segue into the next one. So yeah, we were curious now with the pre-recorded streaming feature, how useful it would be for you guys to have permanent storage. So instead of the streams being deleted after 15 days, doing something where we just store a certain amount of hours or something like that. Curious how useful that would be for you guys. I assume more useful now. We did ask about this a few weeks ago, but that was before we had the pre-recorded streaming feature. So do let us know if it would be useful to have like a permanent library of videos on StreamYard rather than having to always download them and put them on YouTube or Dropbox or wherever you store them.
It'd make things a lot easier. That's for sure.
Larry says, I knew nothing about streaming until COVID, found StreamYard, and it's been so easy to use. Slowly learned more and more, and now added more sophisticated features. Thanks, StreamYard. That's awesome, Larry. Thanks for sharing that, and congrats on becoming a live streamer.
That's awesome.
Oh, I guess I was a bit off on the date. Thanks, Michael. First Hangouts on air was May 2012. Maybe it was just Hangouts in general that was quite a bit earlier.
2012. Back in the day.
Let's see here. Pete says, need the store link right in the interface. I keep forgetting. I assume you mean maybe the download. You forget to download them, Pete. Tons of comments here, so I'm trying to find the storage ones. Let's see. Hector says, would it be possible also to have integrated polls? We've definitely considered this one, Hector. One of the hesitations has been every platform kind of does polls differently. So Facebook Live has a polling feature. I think YouTube does as well, but it's not, I don't think it's accessible over the API. So every platform kind of handles it differently. I'd be curious if it's the type of thing, would you prefer that we just use the native polls that some of these platforms have, like the Facebook Live polls, or would you like to have something on StreamYard itself where people fill out the poll on a StreamYard link where you have full customization? I'd be curious what you'd like to see there. Tristan says, video storage would be good for pre-record. Also wondered if any news on Google Drive integration. No news, Tristan, but it's certainly something we're open to adding. Another one while we're on the video storage subject that is somewhat related. Sharing is not the most descriptive subject line, but I'm curious with those videos that are stored, in addition to permanently having them on Streamer where you can download them, I'd be curious how many of you would find it useful if you could share that link out to the recording with people after the broadcast was over. So instead of having to, download it, upload it to YouTube to share that link, if it would be useful for you to essentially have a video on demand on StreamYard that you could, share your email list or maybe just to a friend to see a past broadcast. Curious how many of you would actually use that feature, maybe embed it. How many of you would actually use it for embedding, or if you're happy with your current workflow? Super curious on that one.
Yeah, that would be nice. So then you wouldn't ever have to download it to your computer. You can just share out the link when someone needs to watch it. Super easy.
Jason says, do we have the ability to record / save separate audio tracks for guests? Yeah, absolutely. Jason, it's a relatively new feature. We now have, I don't remember exactly how it phrases it in the interface, but you have the ability to toggle on, I think it's individual audio tracks is the name of the feature, and it records the separate tracks for you and your guests.
And it's just in general settings.
Yeah, just in the general settings. Chantel says, can we move banners from folder to folder? I actually am not 100% sure. Do you know on that one, Dan?
I don't think so. I think you can only organize them in the folder they're in. I don't think you can pull them out and put them into a new one. But I would just copy and paste mine into the next folder. Yeah,
maybe something we should consider adding. And one thing you can do, Chantel, is you can duplicate folders. So if there's like a whole folder of banners you want to reuse, we do have the option to clone a folder.
That's a great idea. And then you can just delete the ones you don't need.
Absolutely. Jason says, is there a way to set up a FB Live for, say, a month out instead of having to remember to set up Facebook only a week in advance? Maybe you can auto drop it. So that is actually possible now with the new pre-recorded feature, Jason. So on pre-recorded streaming, I guess to directly answer your initial question, no, it's something we're considering adding now that we sort of implemented something similar for the pre-recorded. But as it stands today, on StreamYard itself, you'd have to actually go in and make sure you schedule it within that 7 days on StreamYard. But with pre-recorded streams, you could upload it at any time before, and you have two options. One is for the date where the stream actually goes live and the stream actually goes sent, and the other one is for the announcement post. So likely that we'll do something similar since that does come up quite a bit. Sounds like Sebastian would prefer to have it on StreamYard itself. Very cool. Yeah, stats is a good point there. You'd have full access to who filled it out and their answers. Sounds like Mona would be a fan of sharing the link. Very cool. Yarn says that would be great for blogs and patrons. I assume that's the sharing link, Yarn. Good to know. Cool. Sounds like most people are definitely a fan.
It sounds like they would share the link more often than embed it, like on a website.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Sebastian says, video on demand is good if there's a membership / monetization enabled within StreamYard for people to pay to access. Fair enough. That one is would be farther out if we ever did add it. But I know one thing, I mean, people often have their own systems for that. So that's one thing you'd be able to do with the sharing option is if you did have, say, your own website or something to paywall content, you could just embed it in there. But it's definitely a good point. It was actually a question I had tonight, and I'd be curious for you as well, Sebastian, is where do I have it? If any of you stream to a subscription-only audience, so like right now, it would be a bit difficult to do this because, like you said, Sebastian, it's not baked directly in. But curious how many people are using custom RTMP or doing sub-only streams on certain platforms. Curious how many people utilize that. All right. Another quick mention that we've been talking about for a bit now is infinite scrolling comments. Still, if you'd like early access to this, feel free to email us and we'll turn it right on for you. Just contact@streamyard.com. It's slowly being rolled out to the early folks that request it, but happy to turn it on for anyone that asks for it, but should be out soon.
And infinite scrolling comments just means that you never lose any comments. They never like scroll by. You can always scroll up to the very first comment in the whole show.
Yeah, I always forget to give the context there, so very useful.
We've already had several people beta test it for us, which is awesome.
Sebastian says, Twitter streaming, any updates? Periscope has started dying. So you can still use Periscope to go to Twitter, Sebastian, even if you've never created an account before. If you just go through the flow on StreamYard, you can essentially create one with the sole purpose of going to Twitter. But Twitter is still working on their live API, and as soon as that's ready, Periscope will no longer be necessary.
Yep. but you can still stream there, and you'll still be able to stream there once we switch over to Twitter Live.
Sounds like Tristan does stream to his own website to paid members. Awesome. Larry says, is there a way that we can customize the invite link sent to guests to reflect the brand? Not right now, but that's a super cool feature request. I'd be curious how many other folks would utilize that. I'd be curious, Larry, the extent of the customization. So I assume I guess I shouldn't assume. So just the URL, is it the page that they come to in general? It's like if they come to the invite link, that they see something reflecting that it's your show. The OG image of the link itself. Curious to what extent you'd be interested in branding it.
Yeah, that would be super neat. So that all your guests come to the test cam mic page with like your logo on the side. That'd be cool.
Lisa says, I feel like my videos get more viral when I schedule a pre-recorded video live stream. Is it possible the view count is higher than usual? As far as I know, there should be no difference. Like as far as how it works on StreamYard's end, it's essentially exactly the same. But who knows? Maybe it's a timing thing. The algorithms of platforms is quite complicated and changes all the time. So there might be some subtle difference where at a certain time of day that you just happens to be a better time for distribution or something like that. So it could be all kinds of stuff, but it's likely not the feature itself.
Interesting feedback about the feature, though.
Yeah, it is interesting. Sebastian says, yes, I do paid sections, but it's very tricky with embeds and a user can pass on links. Yeah, that's definitely a good point, Sebastian. One thing that we could do, assuming we added something like embedding if there was the demand for it, is there's ways to do it where domain locking, where you can only watch the embed on, say, your particular domain. So there are ways to work around that. Let's see here. Another subject I wanted to mention was a lot of you probably, hopefully a lot of you caught the first StreamYard industry showcase. So we did our first one. What day did we do that one on, Dana? It
was Thursday morning.
Thursday morning for religious organizations. It was pretty well received. It was an exciting event. So curious other types of industry events you guys would like to see. One thing that came up last time was education. So we'll certainly do one for educators at some point, but curious if there's other ones that you guys would find useful.
Yeah. So on Thursday, if you weren't able to make it, it was our very first industry showcase. That's what we're calling this project. So we're planning to do one industry showcase per month. And so this one, like Geige said, was focused on religious organizations. So we did a deep dive into like the visuals of how to show lyrics on screen, scriptures, any kind of religious text you need to show. And then we did an audio deep dive, and we actually had an audio engineer on our panel talking about, in-person mic setups and how you set up the mic for choirs, any kind of houses of worship need to know those audio, the tech part of the audio setup. And so we did that too. So it was all about the visuals and graphics. And so, yeah, we're just curious which one we should do next. So we've been hearing, like you said, about education. We have so many schools, teachers that use StreamYard. So it'd be neat to do another type of industry deep dive into all the tech that's needed for those different industries. Because for each one, it's different.
Yeah, absolutely. Sebastian says, nope, it has stopped working Periscope. So as far as I know, Sebastian, the app itself might not work as far as watching it in Periscope, but you should still be able to create an account to connect to Twitter itself. And if not, reach out to support and they can walk you through the steps. It can be a little bit finicky if you're not already logged into. Anyways, they can walk you through the exact details, but there might be a step that is getting hung up, but you should still be able to stream to Twitter.
Yeah, we are happy to help you, but we're live on Periscope and Twitter right now, so it's still working.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. I completely forgot about that. JVlog says, need education ASAP. Cool, good to know. That We'll definitely probably prioritize that one. Chris Godby says, sports industry showcase. That's a cool one. I've definitely seen lots of sports shows on StreamYard, so that would definitely be a fun one.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Tristan was on the industry showcase. Awesome. Love to see a music industry showcase. Awesome. Lots of great suggestions here.
Like a concert or maybe even like a DJ. It's a great idea.
Payo Time says, would love to do one for admissions recruitment. Awesome, man. There's so many cool industries out there.
Awesome.
Time is flying by. I guess we still got to do our giveaway. So before we run out of time, Dana, would you mind sharing that?
I'll do the honors.
Cool. So for anyone who hasn't been on one of these before, we always do giveaways at the end of these. And tonight we'll be giving away, since the sweater was mentioned, why don't we go ahead and give away we'll give away a sweater and a StreamYard plush duck. But if you just type in hashtag the yard, you will be eligible to win. So we'll give you a moment here to get in your hashtag the yards.
There's already 57 entries before we even talked about it. I love it.
Cool. Charles says questions. I guess these are the dream features: calendar integration, auto downloads, donation tool, and a social media share. Yeah, those are some cool feature requests. So definitely understand the calendar and the auto download. Donations in it is an interesting one. I'd be curious, Charles, what kind of social media sharing options you'd like to see. I'd also be curious with the auto downloads. Is it the type of thing that you just like it to get exported to, like Tristan mentioned, like a Google Drive integration? One thing, auto downloads, if we wouldn't be able to do it to your computer itself, that would be difficult, or impossible unless you're on the site. But we could do it to some cloud provider that you're using. All right, is it still going up? I think it's probably steady now. Should we go ahead and do it, Dana?
Yep, I think we're ready. This is so much fun. So this is for a sweatshirt and a Puddles.
Yeah, Puddles the plush duck. Let's talk. Congrats. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. Dana will contact you for your info and get it shipped to you.
Woohoo.
Okay, we got time for maybe one or two more questions. Chantel says, hashtag question, does the counter count multiple entries or one per user? I hear different things. Definitely one per user. We were very careful about that. Didn't want people that spammed it to have multiple entries. So maximum one per user. I guess with the only exception being is if you're multi-streaming and they log into multiple accounts and they do hashtag the yard on Facebook and YouTube and one of the other ones, they could be entered that many times. But on per platform, it's one entry. Landlord advocates, hopefully my question will be answered next week. So I'll try to quickly, maybe if you mention it again, I'll see if I can find it. And if not, yes, hopefully next week.
And we also have the office hours in the community group. If your question wasn't answered here, we will answer all your questions in the community group on Tuesdays.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. This was actually one more. NLTMW says, when will new merch be available? Very soon. I think if it's not already in the store, there will be some new items available soon. So feel free to check that out.
Super soon.
This was episode 135 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to have you guys here. We'll see you next week at the same time, Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific.
Bye, everyone.